everybody. Welcome back to the Next Level Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ant-Man Z. As always, with my main man, Crash Nash. I'm pointing the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. He's right there. We appreciate you guys coming and being out here with us today. We're about to bring you another NFL preview matchup. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you like the video. We're here to bring you content. We're going to talk football all day today. We know it's day 2 of the NFL playoffs. We'll do a recap of the games that happened yesterday, but we want to get immediately right into this first game that's today, the Sunday matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. And as you see in our title and thumbnail, we're a little high on Bo Nix right now. Let me ask you a question, Crash. Can he pull it off? Can this kid, this rookie, Bo Nix, beat Josh Allen, who, by the way, is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL over the last 5 years? And it's either going to be him or Lamar Jackson for the MVP this year. Can Bo Nix go into Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen?
I'm hearing some kind of noise coming from somewhere, and it sounds like the final countdown.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Do you hear that? I don't know.
Is it the bell? Is it Rocky? I ain't heard no bell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I think we're on the same page on this one, man. And I'm high on Bo. And let's keep in mind also about me. I was covering college football. I'm not trying to make any excuses. But I was covering Denver for a while, and I'm a huge Bo Nix fan, man. Listen, if there's one position in the NFL to go right into and do and pull off, it's a quarterback position. He's the leader of the team. Let's not forget, when you go to the NFL, if it was their playbook is about like this big, and they have to learn that extremely quickly. Complex, yeah. I could say. And so in the beginning of the season, he was having his struggles. Everybody was wanting to throw him under the bus. And I was like, for those of us that's played ball, I'm going timeout. Give the kid time. All right. And what happened? He has excelled. He's gotten in his groove, his rhythm. And oh my God, before we know it, here we are. The Denver Broncos are in the playoffs. And we have to go all the way back to 1991. And it was Kelly versus Elway.
Wow.
That's how far we have to go back to our history that these two teams meet in the playoffs in the postseason.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. And those were some epic matchups. I mean, that was a decade's worth of good matchups right there between those quarterbacks. And one of them was winning AFC championship games. Neither one of them, it seemed, could win the Super Bowl. But I remember those matchups myself as a kid, and I'm looking forward to maybe more like that.
Can I tell you what the score? Can I tell you what the score was on that? See,
you
back
said
in the
it was
days,
1991?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You want to take a little guess?
Okay, so the last game would have been John Elway, you're saying, versus Jim Kelly, and it was 1991. And where was it played?
That's a good question. I don't have the articulate Artec on that, but
okay, but let's just say both of these quarterbacks, they were known for their shootouts, right? So I'm going to go that somewhere it was a 42-35 game.
No, you're thinking of the new era of football. We're going back to the days where the numbers were lower because we had a run game.
Yeah, that's true.
10-7 Buffalo.
I would have never guessed that. And I don't think we're going to have that today, though. I'm not predicting a 10-7 win in either direction. But you never know. Any given Sunday, Crash, you never know what can happen. But I will tell you this. One thing I agree with you on, and I agree with you fully on this, is that I'm really impressed with what Bo Nix has been able to do this year. Like you said, he's a rookie. He has almost 4,000 yards passing. He comes into this game with 3,775 yards passing. That's a lot of yards. And he's a rookie. And he comes with 29 touches against 12 interceptions. That's a phenomenal spread right there. This guy has been able to put this team on his back and reinvigorate, if you would, the career of Sean Payton, because there was a lot of question marks after what's happened the last couple of years. First they brought in Russell Wilson. That exploded. it looked like maybe Sean Payton and everything there was going to be a bust. Sean Payton said he wanted to be done with Russ. He brings in a rookie quarterback, and in less than a season, here are the Denver Broncos in playoff contention. But they've got to go to a tough team, Crash. They've got to go to Buffalo on the road, one of the hardest places to play in Orchard Park, New York, and take on the Buffalo Bills. How do they do it?
Yeah, let's look at the history of the work first. You mentioned the key factor right there, coaching. Remember, Crash always goes back to leadership. I even myself was in question with Sean. Can he still coach? And you know what? He can. Sometimes maybe a little rusty, but guess what? All you have to do is look at his history, okay? And he's proven he can. And you know what? Let me just give some stats or statistics because they don't lie.
Please
just
do.
To kind of give an out broad look of what we're looking at here, if I may.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to go on Buffalo's side in 10 straight games, their offense has scored 24 points. They're the only NFL offense to score 30 touchdowns and run 30 TDs on the ground in history.
Wow.
So they're cooking.
Yeah.
So we got a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense in Denver going head to head. I believe defense wins championships. Yeah.
Well, let's do something a little different this time, Crash. Let's kind of break down, and maybe this will make a good format as we go forward too. Let's look at the coaching staff. Let's start at the top, since you love to do that. I know you have an affinity towards that because that's where the buck stops, right? So coaching staff, who do we give the advantage to in this game?
Yeah, good question. Listen, who's proven? As my real dad used to say, son, all you got to do is look at a person's history, and it tells a lot about them, right? So it has to point to Sean. He's proven every time the head coach is that for the Bills. Help me with that.
McDermott.
Yeah,
but he's also a Sean. So it's kind of you can't go wrong by saying Sean's going to be the winner in this game. So you got Sean Payton and you got Sean McDermott. I think you cheated on us there by saying Sean will be the better coach.
Right.
Because he most certainly will be. Do you like McDermott or do you like Payton?
I like Sean Payton, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
so
feeling
he does
in my
have
spirit,
that Super Bowl
Sean.
win. You know what? And when he, don't forget when he had Drew Brees, they really did have some magic together. And I think that's what the Denver Broncos were thinking when they brought him out of retirement. Can you recreate that magic with a quarterback up here? And it seems like with Bo Nix, he may have his guy. We'll find out today. So you give the advantage to Sean Payton. I'm going to kind of stay neutral on that one because I think McDermott has been in some big games. He's been at the precipice of winning just a few times. And if it wasn't for that dang Patrick Mahomes, this guy might already have a Super Bowl or two under his belt, but he doesn't yet. And so I'm going to stay neutral on that one. But I like that you went with the Broncos for that one. So let's move on now. You got these two quarterbacks. One of them is arguably the rookie of the year in Bo Nix. He's going to have a tough time getting over Jaden Daniels that started hot, though. But both of those should be in the conversation. I don't know that anybody else should even be brought up. But then you have on the other side, you have the incomparable Josh Allen. I mean, this guy is a workhorse. He's been unstoppable since he entered the NFL. He gets better every year. This is the year that he has the least amount of receiver options. He no longer has his wide receiver one that grew up with him that was Stephon Diggs. And he's making work with a makeshift wide receiver crew of, who is it? You got Khalil Shakir, you've got a banged up Amari Cooper, and you got Keon Coleman. And really, he's spreading the ball also, around to everybody. His tight end.
Also, let's mention his tight end also. You got the tight end, which Kincaid, by the way, Denver their defense does really well against tight ends. Let me just add that.
Yeah. So who do you like there? Who do you think has the advantage at the QB position?
Oh boy, this is a tough question, but we've got to pick one, right?
Yeah.
Bo coming into it. That fire can light you though. That can excel you, right? Listen, let's go back to the college days. Okay, he seemed to excel in big games. Oregon. Out of Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
That's when I really fell in love with Bo, man. I started really liking his style of play, and he's coming into his own. He's finally starting to use his legs. If it's not there, listen, I'm taking off. Both quarterbacks have that in them to do that, to continue to add the drives, keep them going. Josh Allen, veteran, we see he's just calm, cool, collective. He doesn't get too excited. He doesn't rush things, that to his account. I've got to go with, and here's a key thing also I've got to add. The Bills have given up the least, their offensive line, the least sacks. Only 14 sacks. That's not even a sack a game.
Yep. And part of that is Josh Allen, too. That's his ability to scramble, move in the pocket. Nobody extends plays better than he does. He's even better than Lamar, I would say, at extending plays. And I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like his favorite pass on the field is the one where he has his tippy toes on the sideline, on the near sideline, where he somehow it looks like he's throwing it away, and it's always way downfield for a big play. I'm going to personally give the slight advantage to Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen has the advantage there. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily saying that I give the advantage to the Bills in this, but so far I've been neutral on the coaches. I think that might be a wash, and I'm going to go with slight advantage to Josh Allen just for his veteran tenacity and an ability to extend plays with his legs.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement there. I've got to go with Josh Allen, even though I love Bo Nix. Yeah.
Perfect. So then if we want to move from there, how do we feel about the advantage to the offense as a whole? I personally would also give that to the Bills. And the reason why I say that is because they got a running game too. They got James Cook out there, and he has been cooking all year. He got just over 1,000 yards, but man, this guy's got 16 touchdowns on the ground. He is a ground and pound type of guy. He's the guy that when you've, done everything you can to stop Josh Allen from running himself and throwing the ball, he's going to beat you up the middle with them 4 and 5 yard runs per carry. That's what he averaged. I think it's 4.9 or right at 5 yards per carry. But around that goal line, this guy has been an absolute monster. And so couple that with where Denver is in their running game, which is almost non-existent. I know they have the trifecta of McLaughlin and Esteem, and they've even had Javonte Williams out there running from time to time, but none of them has been able to step up and be like a takeover knockout back. This is all going to come down to Bo Nix for the Denver offense. So I'm giving a slight edge. Maybe not even slight. I'm giving a nice edge to the Bills. So far, I've given an edge to Josh Allen and an edge to the Buffalo offense in this game. How do you feel about that?
Well, maybe you didn't do all your research.
Okay.
This is where Crash comes in.
I am not perfect.
No, it's all good. Hey, listen, you didn't know this, and some may not know this. Denver actually does really well against the run. Their defense does, their front four.
I didn't want to get to the defense yet. I don't want to get to the defense yet. But you're saying that they're going to be able to stop Cook, you think?
But we have to if we're going to say, if we're looking at the run game. But what I will say is I do have Cook as being the X factor for the Bills because Denver does so well against the defense. I think they're going to do well, match up well against these receivers. But I'm seeing Cook, and again, he's going to bust something out big. Watch and see what I say. He's going to be an X factor in this game. He's going to get his.
Okay. You keep calling those, Crash, and you keep hitting them on the head. So I might have to start looking to see if there's an anytime touchdown available for Cook, or maybe even score that first touchdown. See what the money line is on that. Yeah, let's move on to the defense then, because I think you're in agreement with me. Maybe a slight edge to Buffalo for the offense because of Cook and his ability to break that big one. But Crash, you preach it all the time. This is your philosophy. Defense wins championships. And I have to give the edge here to the Denver Broncos. I think they have the better defense. I think they have the better defensive front. I think they have shut down corners. Obviously, Patrick Surtain is He's lights out.
Love
You
him.
know, yeah, and if the Denver defense can step up and do what they need today and keep the game close for Bo Nix to be able to go and get it on a fourth quarter, late in the game drive, 2-minute drill, can Bo Nix pull out those stunts that he used to do in Oregon and get that ball down the field and win the game for his Denver Broncos and get out of there? I think that's going to be the storyline.
Yeah, let me just speak a little bit, if I may. Denver's defense has been kind of like a old car that needs a tune-up. It's going to be it's going to be which one shows up, because when they're good, they're really good. But when they kind of stutter and putter, kind of like stumbling, bumbling Biden. No, I didn't say that. They can kind of get a little bit out of whack, right? But we have to go back to the leadership for Patrick Surtain. Love him, man. Old school. Don't know how many years he has, but there goes to show you that, leadership and just playing the game for so many years can really account for a lot. Let me give you some stats, if I may. They actually lead in sacks, Denver does, with 63. So here we go.
Right.
So you got on one aspect an O-line that gives the least sacks up to a defense that has the most sacks, right?
Right.
They have they're third in blitz percentage. In coaching and in defense, when I got into coaching, and I had to make a choice. Am I conservative or am I aggressive? You can't be both. And it appears to me that Denver's defense is aggressive. I love that. I love an aggressive defense. Keep the quarterback off balance, get in his head early. And I believe that that's probably what we're going to see dialed up coming from Sean Payton and his mindset. And I'm going to give the edge to the Denver Broncos defense in this one. And I'm going to say that, Bo somehow, some way is going to do some rookie magic.
Yeah, I can see that coming down to a final drive myself. But I think you nailed it, right? This is a Jekyll and Hyde scenario. Which Denver Bronco defense shows up? Is it the one that in week 9 gave up 41 points to the Baltimore Ravens and got absolutely stomped? And then I think it was 3 or 4 weeks later gave up 41 to Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns? Or is it the team that held the Atlanta Falcons in week 11 to only 6 points, 2 field goals? Or maybe even the team in week 10 that held, unfortunately for them, in a loss, held the Kansas City Chiefs to 16 points. I think it's going to be a matter of which team shows up, and it's going to be a road game. It's going to be a tough scenario. I think it might come down to that final drive. Like I said, the question is, can Bo Nix pull it off? I like Denver in this. I want them to win. I've got the Bills by 7, Crash.
Oh, come on. Oh, you switched up on us, man.
I did.
Wow, you got me, man. You know what?
I think Josh Allen just has too many intangibles that are going to be hard to shut down.
Well, I got a little trick up my sleeve also.
There we go.
Hey, listen.
Let's bring it.
It sounded like we were all leaning towards Denver, and I just can't do it. I've got to go with the Bills at home field advantage, right? Yeah. The crowd's going to be into it. You can't bet against Allen at home, man. He's on, you just can't do it. His better
Orchard Park, New York. Yeah, Orchard Park, New York is hostile territory if there ever was one. It's a good place for him to get his feet wet in the first playoff game, but if he goes in there and pulls that off, it's going to be the stuff of legends.
It's a great story, it's a great storyline, you know what I'm saying? Nothing to John Payton. It's Bo's first year. Hey, you've done a great job. It's been a great storyline, but the Bills want this more. Trust me. They've been here before, and it's time for them to get over the hump. I've got the Bills by 13. No, 2 touchdowns, 14. What'd you say?
I like it. I said 7.
Okay.
So you went with 2 touchdowns. We'll see who's right at the end. All right, we appreciate you guys coming. If you watch this far, we appreciate you even more. Like and subscribe. Share this video to any of your friends that are Bronco fans or Bills fans. You can at least tease them out since we lead you guys on quite a bit. You probably thought we were going Broncos. We're high on the Broncos. We like them. But in the end, it's just going to be hard to beat Josh Allen and the Bills.
Hey, can I give you
guys yeah, sure, Crash.
Real quick, I wanted to give one more thing that I'm kind of seeing. I just want an X factor. We didn't really talk about the X factors. I want to give a player that I can see something like this happening to Bo Nix a credit. Marvin Mims Jr. He can
Oh,
stretch the
yeah.
field.
Yeah.
I'm seeing maybe, let's see if
I
I'm
like that
right.
call.
Another one of these calls of crashes,
Yeah.
man.
He
I'm
will be a game changer even more than Cortland Sutton is, I believe.
Mark what I say. I'm seeing something over the top. Bo Nix to him, maybe a touchdown. Let's see if I'm right.
Okay, so if we're wrong in our predictions, we can blame Marvin Mims Jr. I got you on that one. All right, buddy. We'll see you in the next one. We'll come and do the next game recap here soon. So watch out for our next one. See you guys. God bless.
God bless, guys.